Hi, everybody. Michelle McBride here, and today I get to introduce you to the one, the only Floyd Turner. Floyd is the assistant team leader in the Bucks County Central Market Center, and he has an amazing story of how he's come up through the Keller Williams system and has done some pretty incredible things. Floyd, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Michelle.
I'm so excited to get a chance to chat with you formally.
Yes.
We know each other for a couple of years now, but I'm so excited to hear your story. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in real estate?
Well, so prior to being in real estate, I worked with adolescents with behavioral health and mental health and cognitive challenges. And like most stories, it started with a girl, right? With my real estate journey. And I was dating somebody who said, "Hey, it looks like you've pretty much hit your ceiling in your current career. What's next?" And I had a friend who'd been in real estate for a while, and they said, "Floyd, real estate is where you need to be. It fits your personality. It'll fund your lifestyle. It's what you need to do." So I basically answered the question with a thought that I had, which ended up being a dream, which ended up being a reality. And I said, I'm going to, start a real estate career. And she said, "Great." And then a week later, she said, "What's going on with this real estate thing?" And I go, "Oh, I signed up for classes." And then I signed up for classes, right? And and midway through getting my license, we broke up. But I never broke up with real estate. And I thank that person all the time for introducing me to something that has changed my life. And the fact that I was able to join a company like Keller Williams, which, pretty much was right in tune with what I was doing with my life, working with adolescents, helping. All I want to do is help people. And at first I didn't see it. I saw it as a way of making money. When I realized that it was a way of helping people, it changed my perspective and changed my trajectory.
Did you jump full in, or was there a transition period from?
There was a 3-year transition. And after my first and a half year, I probably could have made the jump, but I was still holding on to the diving board in a sense. And before I made the splash, I decided that I wanted to make sure that I was in a really good rhythm with real estate, that I could do so.
Okay. So I know that some of the people that are going to be watching this are probably in your position, right? They are currently maybe in another career, transitioning into real estate or something similar. What did you learn, and what did you have to do early in your career to position yourself to be able to transition? Like, what were those years like for you?
I had to get really serious about whether I wanted to do this or not, and whether it was going to be something else that I did while I was doing the thing that I was doing. And so I came to my market center every day. And meanwhile, and this is the point where I'm living an hour away. So I'd come to my market center every day and be here from 4 to 7.
Okay.
So when I was done my day job, I'd come here and be here from 4 to 7 every day. A few things happened in doing that. I became very focused on what I was there to do. So those 3 hours were very intentional, because it was more time in my day, right? And I knew that I wasn't going to eat dinner until 7 o'clock each day. So when you're working to eat, literally,
Yeah.
it helps with the focus and making sure that you're doing the right thing. The other thing that happened was a lot of people in my market center saw me coming in on a consistent basis. And as they were walking out to either go to a showing or go home to their families, they would say, "Hey, I see you here all the time. I know that you're from Upper Bucks. I have a listing there that is not selling. Would you mind taking the buyers when I get them?" And so forth and so on. So I started to get in the rhythm with the market center, even though I wasn't here full time. And folks just saw me as that person who was consistently here and available and willing to be a team player.
So when you would come in for those 3 hours, what did that look like for you? Like, was there a certain thing that you did every day? Was there a certain system that you followed? What were you doing in those 3 hours to be so purposeful?
So once a week, and this was before our market center had a productivity coach, I had a mentor. So once a week, I would meet with my mentor, and she basically asked me how the weekend went, because I was doing a lot of work over the weekends. And she'd say, "Okay, it looks like you had a great showing up or a good showing at your open house. What are you doing to speak to those people? How are you reaching out to those folks? And how are you reaching out to people in your sphere of influence and your database? And that's what I would focus on. Simply database and newly met people through open houses. I was not the biggest fan of cold calling, but when that list of sphere and recently met started to whittle down, that's what I did. And I made cold calls. And I was literally Thursdays and Fridays, more times than not, I was making those cold calls.
So you did that for a couple of years and your business started picking up. And then you got to a point, you said about 18 months in that you probably could have let go. And then after 3 years, you did let go. Was
Yes.
there a moment that you knew, like, yes, it's time for me to move on? Like, was there a defining thing that happened?
There was in my role in my previous career, I was what was called a behavior manager, and I was working with some kids that had some really tough challenges. So from time to time, we would take walks outside the building just to get fresh air and what we called process whatever was going on. So there was one time when I had somebody speaking to me about their worst case scenario happening and unfolding around them. At the very same time, my phone went off in my pocket. And I knew that I was waiting for a very important call from a showing that I did, and whether or not these folks would have put an offer in on the house. And it was at that moment that I reached for my phone and I thought to myself, I can't be in this space because I'm literally caught between these two things. And I'm doing a disservice to both by not making a decision.
Oh man, you just gave me goosebumps. So so that was your sign that you had to make a decision because you didn't want to not be full in with the people that you were serving on the other side of things.
Absolutely.
So you jump full in and talk to me about your early career in real estate. So you jump full in and you hit the ground running, or what was the next phase of after you jumped in?
So and it's wild because you would think that, like, oh my goodness, I've created some really great habits and I'm going to go and I'm going to just use those great 3-hour habits over a 6 or 8 hour day, sometimes 10 or 12, right? Because we're realtors, it's realistic. No, that's not what I did. So because I had so much more time in my day, I figured I could take those 3 hours that had made me successful and just spread them out through the day. I didn't have the opportunity to become, really engaged in what was going on in the market center. So walking around the market center and saying hi to this person and that person that I didn't get to see from 4 to 7, that felt like the world to me. And then a big change happened, and my team leader changed, and my ownership changed in my market center. And love the old guard, but the new guard really said, hey, we're all about the KW models and systems. Why don't you give them a shot? And for whatever reason, they took a liking to me, and a friend and a mentor was my team leader. And in that relationship, I grew big time, very fast. He put me on the ALC. He put me out in front to meet amazing people. He said, hey, I understand that you are really big into this QL journey. It was him who said, hey, Mo Anderson is going to come to your is coming actually to yours to our region, and it very well may be the last time. And I think that you of all people should be there. And I sat in that room, and that's what really was like the catalyst to who I am sitting in front of you and why you'd want to even have a conversation with me today. Mo went on about what the QL journey looked like, and she said at the very end, she said, and you know what's so special? You can teach this. If this was impactful for you, you can teach this. We have young adults everywhere, all around the country, all around the world that needs this information. Are you going to be the person that delivers it?
Yeah.
And in that moment, I took that vow and I said yes.
I remember that quantum leap. It was at the Bucks County Sheridan.
Yes.
And it was very impactful for me as well. So you go on this QL journey, but also journey of becoming an instructor for Keller Williams University as well. So let's talk about that, because I think that sometimes people forget that, Keller Williams is for selling real estate and all of that, but really I talk about a lot. It's about teaching you and helping you become like a person who has this whole big life, right?
Right.
And so sometimes the big life is what you were just talking about, is giving back and training and teaching and coaching. So talk to me about the QL journey. What did you do? Why did you decide to go down that road? Why was that important to you?
It tied into who I am. Prior to getting into real estate and seeing this opportunity, I dedicated my life to helping young people, right? And it was like a blessing. Hey, you just joined a company that has that same mission, right? They have that same value and belief system that allows you to do that thing and create your biggest, best life and live up to your full potential without a ceiling. Um, so when the opportunity came along, I was so fortunate to meet somebody that you know and love probably just as much as I do, Usha Patel, who basically said, "Hey, if you want to do this, you can do it." And she was so kind to come out to the market center and just talk to me and explain to me that it's going to be progression and not perfection. Because that was my biggest holdup, is like, how can I do this without doing it wrong? And there was no wrong. It's just better than the last time that you did it, and that's what it's been. And so I got to go to a QL summit where that was the first time I met you.
Yep.
And I was surrounded by amazing people, and I didn't know it felt like there was no hierarchy, right? And I got back and somebody said, Michelle kind of runs your entire region. I was like, you mean my friend Michelle? But because you were such a great co-instructor and instructor throughout that. So that was really awesome. And being on that, I realized, I don't just have to teach QL, because I can help young adults and help the adults and agents within my market center. So I got really passionate about that. And then when someone said, "Hey, you can do this all across the country, all across North America," I thought, I love traveling, I
Yeah.
love teaching. It's a perfect mix. And I believe in it, right? So I think that's the one thing. I have a true conviction about what I'm talking about. And if I don't, it doesn't come across the same, and it's going to be a bad message. It's a waste of everyone's time. That's the last thing I want to do.
Right. Right. So along this journey, you become a QL instructor, you're going through KWU process. You also started to get into market center leadership. So why did you decide to go down that path, and what is that looking like for you today?
That wasn't part of the plan, right? I saw a need with something that I felt like I do at a pretty significant level in helping our agents in the market center. There was a void. I partnered up with an amazing pro coach in Lauren Hogan. We worked together to, just help people build their careers, like someone that's just getting in. I remember that. I remember sitting in that back room from 4 to 7 and what that felt like, and sometimes lonely, right?
Yeah.
And be able to build a community with a coach. One of the things that I've learned since being here is that there's a difference between a mentor, a trainer, and a coach. The mentor is a person that you check in with, and you may celebrate your highs and your lows, or not necessarily celebrate your lows, but
Right.
go to that person with those ups and downs. And then the trainer is that person that you sit in front of, and they tell you a bunch of things, and then they never check in on the success. When we coach, we're in it with you, right? Your wins are our wins, your losses are our losses, and we move together as a team. That's why we call it coaching, and that was really special. And that's propelled me into the assistant team leader role, which, I mean, if you had asked me 3 years ago, I would have said, no, that's not going to be my path. But here I am. So, and this is the best thing about Keller Williams. Like, opportunities do not run away from you; they
They
run
do
to
not. They do not. So we're sitting here a year from now, and you're telling me about the best year you've ever had. What's happened in the next year for you?
So in the next year, I've moved into a team leader role,
Okay.
and our market center is hitting its goals, making sure that we become a $1 million market center. And the folks that are here because they're getting the best that they can get at any place that does this business, right? Because they can go anywhere and do this, but they want to be here and they need to be here.
I love that, Floyd. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Just a little bit about your journey. I really appreciate it. And Floyd, how can people reach you if they have a referral or anything that they'd like to send your way?
Oh, absolutely. Please feel free to reach out to me. My personal cell phone number is 267-357-9778. You can also reach me via email, which is floyd.turner@kw.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Floyd. And anybody, if you have any comments for Floyd, drop them in the chat channel now. See you later.
Bye.